Hello, this is Art Johnson with New World Communications, and I am really excited because today I am celebrating human face-to-face communications coming back in a marvelously brand new way. And I want to talk about that. I want to put that into perspective in terms of our human evolution and the crisis that we have been addressing, and how things are breaking through in a marvelous new way that is going to be very fruitful and very prosperous for many. So I got good news here. So anyway, I want to go right on to that. But before I get into that, I want to just kind of tell a little story here that's about our human evolution. You know, since the beginning of time, that we have been, as human beings, we communicate the best when we do so humanly by engaging with others face to face. And this is also true for other species in the animal kingdom as well. As human beings, we are social beings, and this is the way that we continue to evolve. Human beings have always created new tools to communicate socially. We first used our voices. We wrote on the caveman walls, and in caves, and we use bodily gestures and smoke signals and dance and drums and religious rituals and our writing, and then we came up with tablets and on papyrus, and then clay tablets, papyrus, and on the walls and in books. And we love to talk with people about our books. We love to lecture, we love to teach, we love to present, we love to train. All of face-to-face, we love to engage, and some of us love to preach. And as human beings, it hasn't just stayed there. We've always extended our ability. We continue to extend our ability to communicate via technological innovation, from the printing press, from the telegraph, the telephone, the radio, television, and its tremendous expansion from a few little channels to UHF to cable, and now with the whole internet explosion of internet television, across the planet, we have continued to communicate here. And we have the growth of, then the invention of computers, and then microprocessors that made them personal and smaller, and then the internet, and then the digital graphics explosion, and then finally the World Wide Web as a graphical interface on the internet. And this kept on going, and then digital television and HD television and email and bulletin boards and email marketing and wireless communications and digital cameras and smart phones with digital cameras with HD video on them, recording capability. And we have increasingly done so in a virtual world. We've moved begin to walk through a virtual door. But something has happened to us in terms of social media in that first phase. And a lot of it has to do with social outcasts, interesting enough. What we currently call social media, to a large extent, was created by initially very geeky, introverted school guys. These are social outcasts in college who use their software programming smarts to get even and to kind of flex their egos. They hacked into the school's network. They rated college girls' looks that they couldn't get dates with or didn't know how to even approach. And they actually engineered how to be liked by clicking on a button saying, "Like me." And interestingly enough, this caught on, and it created a social internet, interestingly enough, based on faces, literally a Facebook. And of course, business people also sought around the same time to link in with each other in their own more business-oriented social environment, kind of texty, but now it's got more pictures and there are more videos, and there's full of swapped recommendations and stated expertise, and people are working on their profiles, and people have started, in addition to that, tweeting and texting and even sexting. But something very precious was still missing. And you know what it was? It was the face-to-face human communications. And this spurned a physical world networking group explosion. There's a lot of networking, meetup groups and tons of early bird meetings, and chambers of commerce and other trade associations continue to leverage the idea of physical world networking events, meeting face to face. But none of those have kept up with the explosion of technology in a now social internet. And so you get even though you're meeting, you're kind of saying, is this the best use of my time here? Because you have the same subject matter experts, and they kind of go to the round table, and the discussions are interesting, but we're in a cultural crisis here. And so I want to talk about that, with that cultural crisis, and those meetup groups are fine, but business people have not been able to keep up, and their knowledge sharing and business enrichment has been limited. Meanwhile, people, businesses, and organizations have been facing major sustainability issues, and it all has to do with, this kind of physical world approach and our physical world reality, dealing with the economic crisis and the environmental crisis. A large of it has to do with physical world transportation that continues to pollute the runoff from the streets right into our water sources. We're polluting our streams and our oceans. Physical world architecture is also super expensive, especially when one seeks a business presence in more than one place, more than one city across the planet. And so there's some real challenges here. And this whole, there's also this, has created a whole global warming challenge. It's also created a crisis in learning and an accompanying crisis in paradigm. A lot of people are kind of doing a lot of soul searching about higher education now, and being competitive, and exploring new ways to try to get more people involved. And they haven't kind of worked it out. But the good news is that other things have been simultaneously involving. So I'm going to flip it. And this is kind of where I'm seeing the turnaround that is really, I'm really excited about. I find that I'm, kind of in the middle of all of it, and it just feels so great. And so the first thing I want to talk about, the more promising side to social that's also been evolving consciously. And I want to talk about television. Not necessarily, yes, from the very beginning, television has fascinated me and educated me in ways. And yes, there has been manipulation and obvious brainwashing with the Tarzan movies, and the way that they did the cowboys and Indians, and the way they treated women and other minorities, and horrible stereotypes. But, it also documented the evolution of bold grassroots social consciousness that got into the news. The civil rights movement, Black Power, and the women's movement, and the hippie movement, and the anti-war movement, and all of those movements that we've seen that have been a public reaction that has captured the minds of people, even in media that we didn't control, has broken through. Then we had public access, which gave people kind of a taste of what it might be to author their own content. But let's now fast forward that to now. Now, YouTube allows, which came out in about 2004, in terms of when I think Google bought it, allows people to author their very own content, and we can see them almost face to face. I'm talking with you. I'm engaging with you face to face over YouTube. And that's really important because it brings back that human face-to-face communications. You can build relationships. You can build a trust and authority by engaging with people over YouTube. And, it's giving us back something that we've been missing. And the massive traffic over YouTube has also created a market for low-cost, almost no-cost technology, even HD, which I can shoot on my cell phone now. So this is really neat. And one thing feeds into another. So without this infrastructure, without this television, and without this change, then we couldn't really have the same kind of cultural evolution that we have now. And the way that things get shared in film and television and graphics, certain films just changed my whole world, like What the Bleep, Down the Rabbit Hole, and The Secret, and that it, came as a television piece and then in a book piece and was picked up by people, and people are still resonating about what the law of attraction means and taking that further and how does it relate to business. So we have all this conscious evolution. We also, it's fueled by the internet and Wikipedia, people contributing content. YouTube is the world's second largest search engine next to Google itself. And so when you have the impact of Google search and YouTube search, it's a tremendous impact on learning and on social contributions to learning. No longer is learning the exclusive domain of a few subject matter experts up in the gilded university campus. Even though there's some great teachers, I don't want to diss, I taught in the university, as a graduate student, and and in the community college system, and the technical college systems, and the vocational college systems. So I really have the ultimate respect for the work that people do wherever they are doing it. But you cannot deny the impact that this new social learning is going to have across every institution of learning from the family on up. And so one of the things that also, hand in hand with that, which has really got me the most excited, has been the launch of Google Plus with Hangouts and Hangouts on Air. Hangouts is an ability for you to meet with people at up to 9 to 14 other endpoints, locally, regionally, and nationally across the planet for free. You don't pay a cent for that, and it's part inside of a robust social platform that has circles so you can really target your communications, and it is a marvelous capability that we are just seizing. And one of the biggest ones is Hangouts on Air, which is like a broadcast capability that streams live to a huge audience. So you, as even the smallest business or a company or a nonprofit, can, working with us, we can help you frame the conversation in your field of expertise locally, regionally, and across the planet. You have the world's best subject matter experts taking on the issues of the world and talking in a really neat way, accountable to the public, who is going to weigh in and add their comments and tweet and even author counter meetings and all that. This is also good. So we have this tremendous innovation engine. We've got these three things. We've got the crowd, we've got the spotlight, which shows people on excellence, and we've got that passion, that desire for excellence that keeps raising the bar in terms of excellence. Even not only excellence in programming, but in education. It's going to, and it is beginning to already transform the world. And I find myself right in the middle of that. So the resolution is that Google Plus and YouTube are bringing human communications, real-time face-to-face communications back, locally, regionally, and nationally across the planet, delivering what's been missing and just in time too. The experience of meeting face-to-face online with people locally and across the planet is helping human evolution and human consciousness continue to evolve. The implication of the new face-to-face social learning that can happen locally, regionally, and nationally across the planet using the world's very best local, regional, national, and international subject matter experts, gurus, grassroots activists, people themselves across cultures, across generations. The implications are far-reaching. And I'm celebrating them now because, I'm contributing to that humbly learning from a lot of people. There's some in front of me, there's some behind me that are using this. But one of the things that I'm seeing, I don't hear too many people talking about this, is the notion of virtual transportation to virtual architecture. I am actually meeting with you inside of virtual architecture. What I mean is software that allows you to see me and others face to face, and this will greatly improve our sustainability as well as fuel economic development and economic recovery and innovation as we develop business in a 21st century world, from getting enabled, which is only just the beginning, all the way up to doing major world-class global events, conferences and trade shows. If we get to that level where we're so comfortable meeting with us online, we can do them completely virtually and not burn 1 cent of gas, add not 1 micron of pollution or CO2 emissions, okay? And it can be way more democratic. This goes all the way into people's homes, into their mobile devices, onto their phones. Even into bars, we have some new dongles and things like that that'll map a YouTube video up on an HD TV. So living rooms can become classrooms. Community centers can be new places for learning. So I'm really, really excited for this, and you don't have to care 1 iota about the environment, but I know you will care about strategic advantage, because every entrepreneur is looking for a way to distinguish themselves, to get an edge, to get beyond the clutter of people drifting on social networks where you don't feel like there's something authentic that's not there. This is total authenticity, and you can see it in people, in their body language and the way they lean in and the way they're passionate about what they do, and you can make the option to click them off or not, but this is the way I think to go. So this can be a powerful new way, and it's also a powerful new way of social venturing. So you corporations out there that need to change your PR and are thinking about ways to engage with the community, this is a perfect platform to create critical conversations between profitable companies and nonprofits and the community, and creating these wonderful partnerships that are authentic. And that's going to be the history of the world. There's a group of people, of young professors up at University of Washington in Bothell, who are saying that will be the new entity, that the idea of the nonprofit is going to morph into a social venture, and that the traditional for-profit only company, that doesn't have a social arm and doesn't do meaningful work is going to be both are going to be dinosaurs. So you have this merging of these new social ventures, and you can see that. Some people say, oh, well, that's so great. You've got Microsoft over here, and you've got Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I see that as one company with 2 different sides, a for-profit side and the giving side. The giving side also influences, look at this, they're in Africa. That's the new frontier for developing new markets. I'm not taking anything away from the goodness of your heart, but it's just going to show you that investing in the social good of the society, and even Andrew Carnegie with all his libraries, something got missed, where people forgot about doing that into sheer profit. When people don't have jobs and they're not, so we need to bring industries back, and we have to create new industries and globalize. Actually, globalize sounds really weird, but globalize in a way that we have kind of a equalization of wealth here. I'm not into socialism or communism, but I do believe we can do very innovative ways to create a society by design, a new design for living, a new design for business that will really transform ourselves personally and transform the world. Wow, am I excited about that. So here's some things, a few calls to action that I encourage you. If you haven't, the reason why I'm talking this way comes out of my experience. If you say, well, Johnson, I don't do video, I've never been online face-to-face, well, you don't have an experiential reference, so you have to kind of trust me to say, wow, you got to check this out. So I invite you to experience this firsthand by joining Google Plus and hanging out with me and other key members of your organization, your group, your company, your department, your nation state. I swear, I got some big reach here. And I want you to talk to us about our online face-to-face course called Using Google Plus to Grow Business. And it's actually done. We walk in the walk. You're actually going to be using Hangouts and Hangouts on air if you're really into it. Our last session will have you doing the Hangouts on air if you want to deal with that, because it's a biggie. Talk to us about that, because we can tailor fit that to the needs of your organization. And that's what we'll do. We're doing it as groups. It's not just one person, but it's got to be a group of people to make this, to keep our price down, and so make this meaningful and move it forward. We also have another course, which is a kind of a in the physical world one, called Using YouTube Video to Grow Business. We'll eventually virtualize that, where we'll have groups of people in different parts of the world with the same equipment in the physical world. We'll be able to also coordinate that over Hangouts, in real time. So we might have, instead of one location with only 7 or 8 people, we might have 9 times that many locations with 7 or 8 people, with on the ground co-facilitators doing the hands-on with you there. Really exciting ways to mix this in a hybrid world way. And then finally, I want to talk to you about our big one, what we call our campaign course. And that's really over a 12-month period for your organization, for your company, to take you and a core group of people from just being enabled to practically applying this to solve your business challenges and opportunities in a really, really powerful way. All the way from getting enabled to engaging in the world in a series of critical conversations, to doing some interesting getting social events and socializing and doing some hangouts and some virtual business casual happy hours, where people are loving to be in that social world, sipping drinks and having canapes, but seeing other people across other cities doing the same thing and doing television and just really kind of doing a lot of buzz for the good of ourselves and for the good of humanity. So that's what I'm about. That's why I'm so excited about this, and that's why I'm offering myself to you to work things with you and to celebrate the fact that face-to-face communications, human communications, has come back. It's the new human media, as Sarah Hill calls it. But, whatever you call it, you got to experience it. You know exactly what I mean when you see the difference between this pseudo-texting and liking and drifting, this social drifting, almost in kind of like hypnotic drifting, versus, as a matter of habit, conscious habit force. As a habit of producing television or watching television or engaging in series of your own programs. That's the whole difference, I think, that Napoleon Hill talks about between those who learn how to control and direct our mind in very positive ways versus those who never figure that out, that are just drifting, being blown like the wind by this and that and chasing this shiny object or that. I'm not a shiny object chaser at all. Technology makes no sense unless we're using it for our humanity. So anyway, thank you so much. And this is Art Johnson for New World Communications. Visit us at www.newworldcom.com. We invite you to subscribe to our channel. And if you like this, please, on the YouTube player, give us a thumbs up or even a thumbs down. Make your comments here. We need to know if we're on point with you. And if we're on Google+, do the same thing with the like button and comment over here and share this. We're getting the word out. We're creating some meaningful social change in our lifetime, across generations, across cultures, across small businesses, large businesses. We're coming together as a world community that cares. Thank you so much.